I got a bit of downtime, so I pulled apart the gear selector, re-greased it all inside. Boot needs to be replaced, but just having a play, so it's going to be a bit tricky to do this, but here we go. So that's first gear, second, and then straight forward, third gear, fourth gear. And to get into reverse, you put it into neutral, pull up on the stick, then go across to the right diagonal, and then it makes a different click. So that's in reverse now. Cool. Alrighty folks, so let's just give you a bit of an update how we've been going so far. I've done a little bit of work here with the boot lid. I haven't recorded it because I'd rather just get on with it. It's stuff that isn't difficult knowledge-wise to do. It's just sort of more of a case of getting it sorted. So boot lid has been repainted. There's a few spots on there I'm not too happy with. I mean, like if I need to at some future date, I can just repaint that boot lid. Gave it a bit of a buff and polish. There's a few dull spots in it still that need to be fixed up. Had a bit of an issue here with some shrink back, but I don't know what happened there. So it's likely I'll at some point in the future repaint it, but for now I just want to get it finished. So what are we going to talk about? Boot lid. Okay, so this is a Cooper S boot lid, and I discovered that I marked out all the holes for the badge, and then I realised when I went to centre punch it, the punch just went straight through. They were actually here, but they were all filled up. So that's good in a way. At least the actual positions which I had off the internet actually do match up with the holes. So what else? We attached these the supports to it. These screws are rarely difficult to find in the hardware shops, but you can get them online easily. I managed to just pick up a few. These ones are actually hex head to tighten them, so I'm going to order the proper ones. I guess it's flat or Phillips head, and I'll change them over when I get a chance, but just so I can just have a play and see how it all fits. Getting the boot lid to fit, it actually fits in nicely. There's a lot of adjustment you can do with these the hinges, so you can get it nice and straight easily. The next challenge with that is to fit the rubber seal. Now the rubber seal actually needs clips, and there's 26 different these holes here. They're where the clips go in, and then the clip sort of attaches onto the rubber. So that's something I'll have to order and do it another time. The locks, I'll talk about the locks in a second, but that locks nicely now, and I can lock it up, take out the key. Well, that's unlocked, and then I've got it so positioned down, so now that's locked. Okay, just with the locks for this, I'll just quickly explain these. So the way it works is the door handle, there's only a keyed lock on the driver's side. Passenger side just has no lock, and the locking mechanism is actually done by the part that attaches to the door. But anyway, the key on this part, you need to be able to, I think, unlock it to get that piece off. I'll just pause it and come back to it in a second. Hang on. Okay, so to get to the actual key lock, so you put the key in, turn it, and then when it's halfway, then you can slide it out because that pin which moves is in the way. Okay, and then to actually get the barrel out, this little, let me just get something to point with, screwdriver will do. So if you have a look, there's a little brass pin right there. You need to hit that pin out, and then once that pin's out, this whole barrel mechanism will come out. And the way because when I bought this car, it didn't come with the keys. I actually used the ignition lock, and I'll just quickly show you on the ignition lock. I've got two ignition locks, but this one is a different, there's two, but different ones, but I do have the original one. So if you look on the ignition lock, that hole there, if you put a small screwdriver through that hole, press down, the whole barrel just comes straight out. And then it was from the ignition lock, taking the barrel out, taking that to a locksmith, I was able to get the keys cut for this car. So the door handle one you can't actually get out unless you have the key. So that was lucky that the ignition key was the right one and all the bits were there. So that key is the same for the boot as well. Fuel caps, obviously, they're aftermarket, so they have different keys, and they're not keyed alike, so I can get that sorted out at another time. Alright, so the next thing, I'm going to set up the GoPro, and I will record putting on the number plate. There's like a board which sits there, so I'll show you over here. It needs a bit of a buff down, but I'll leave that for now because it'll be exposed. So I've got all these bits painted at the same time. So that board needs to get fitted. It uses these brackets too. So I'll put the GoPro on and do a time lapse, and you can watch me do that. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so there we go. That's put back together. Now badge is on. So this number plate, the reason why this flaps up like that, it's a bit tight, but I'll have to adjust it. It could just be a bit of the paint. But the reason why it does that, it's so you can actually drive with the boot open, and then if your number plate is attached to that board here, like that swings down, and then your number plate is still visible. So that's one like feature that Cooper S and I think the Mini Deluxe had. So you'll be able to still see your number plate. That's if you wanted to fit something in your boot, which obviously doesn't fit. And then put it back up. It should just swing flat level again, but I'll need to sort that out. There should also be a couple of rubber stoppers. There's a couple of holes under there. They need the rubber stoppers in it. So I'll fix that up, and then this bit is sort of done for now. You can have a look how that looks. Still needs a bit more of a polish, but it's not too bad. Okay. Alright, I'll leave it there. Thanks for watching my videos.